There has already been a conversation arising around Hazard Zone, even though it just got revealed yesterday, about whether or not it's going to be dead on arrival. Now, I'm going to explain as to why some people are thinking about that and why this conversation is going on. But before we start the video, remember, if you do enjoy to leave it a nice, thick, and juicy like. Of course, if you enjoy this kind of content, you want more like it, be sure to hit that big red sexy subscribe button. I mean, come on, I'm not stopping here. Also got to thank my channel members. You guys help make these videos possible. If you join, get access to the exclusive perks that they get, and be sure to check out that blue join button. Anyway, let's begin. So why is the comparison to Firestorm, why is the whole dead on arrival thing already started? I mean, Jesus, we can't even give this thing 24 hours. So what's going on here? Well, the big thing is a lot of people assumed that there was going to be some kind of a free-to-play element to 2042. It was never confirmed, but there were rumors that there would be a free-to-play element, and Hazard Zone just seemed like the natural part of the game to end up a free-to-play element. But we got Hazard Zone revealed. It is not free-to-play. In a similar way to how Firestorm was not free-to-play in Battlefield 5, even though it was supposed to be the big battle royale, everyone's going to come to this game and they're going to play the battle royale, you're going to love it, but it wasn't free-to-play and no one bought the game anyway, and it was dead on arrival. People are making that comparison here. Now, I think 2042 is going to sell a lot more copies than Firestorm and Battlefield 5 did, and I think there's going to be a bit more people playing Hazard Zone than were playing Firestorm. Maybe more people playing Hazard Zone by itself than were playing Battlefield 5 as a whole. I'm not really sure, but it definitely seems like this game mode has potential and would have far greater potential as a free-to-play type of mode. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. If you look at both Battlefield 2042 and at Modern Warfare 2019 and make a couple of comparisons. Now, I know there's a lot of similarities in their gameplay, but hear me out. Modern Warfare 2019's gameplay was designed almost for a battle royale. Even in the 6v6, a lot of the mechanics from the tactical sprint, from the way that you have doors set up, there's numerous mechanics like that kind of slow down the gameplay and make it a little bit more tactical compared to your typical Call of Duty gameplay. Obviously, if you play the game, the 6v6 is still somewhat fast-paced, but there are some booger-eating campers sitting behind doors everywhere, and it does kind of hurt the experience. There's a reason not a lot of people liked Modern Warfare 6v6, but when you get to Warzone, Warzone takes off and explodes because the game was actually designed for Warzone. It had that in mind. It just came out at a later date, and a lot of people love Warzone because those mechanics work far better there. Well, if you look at 2042, obviously there are some apparent similarities from the tac sprint, the slide, everything like that. But if you look at the way the specialist system is implemented, the lack of distinguishable factions, the lack of the traditional Battlefield structure, the way the map is designed, it's for something like Hazard Zone. You have these individual isolated areas where you'd want to approach, and there are definitely areas to plan your approach before you go into the areas of conflict, which end up being your objectives and conquest. They're very isolated, so you have plenty of room to kind of be away from some of the other squads and try and figure out what you want to do before making your approach to the objective. And while that might work great in Hazard Zone, in Conquest, which we saw in the beta, it really hurt the flow of the gameplay from one objective to the other. Now, the big difference here is Hazard Zone's not going to be free to play like Warzone is free to play. Now, why is that an issue? Some people see it as actually a benefit because they see it as kind of like the world's easiest anti-cheat is to just put up a paywall. But the thing is, 2042 is already launching with an anti-cheat. It's not like Warzone, which just did ban waves for so long and cheaters would just make a new account and jump right back in, and they're only just now getting an anti-cheat. We're launching with an anti-cheat, so why not just make it free to play like Apex Legends? Because we use the same anti-cheat as Apex Legends, so why not? It just seems to make the most sense. And of all the things that we seem to take from Apex Legends, we didn't take the free-to-play thing. I'm just saying. Another thing about free-to-play and why this could end up hurting Hazard Zone because it's going to be behind a paywall is just the amount of people that aren't used to this type of like escape from Tarkov mode. Sure, Tarkov is extremely popular on PC. A lot of people really love it, and it has an extremely dedicated player base that show up to play Tarkov specifically, and they will pay the $45 it takes to play that game, but that's the experience they're looking for. When you buy Battlefield, you buy the Battlefield experience. You want All-Out Warfare, you want Portal, and of course Hazard Zone's a nice add-on, but I would say within the community, it's probably the least hyped mode. Like, it's just people are not that interested in it overall, and that's fine. Obviously, Battlefield players have never really been, I would say, too big into battle royales for the most part. Obviously, some of them went over to Warzone with BF5, but in general, there's a reason not a lot of people from the core audience went over to play Firestorm. There's a reason for that. It's because we already have large-scale combat. We already have that kind of big maps and vehicles and everything like that. So it doesn't totally appeal in the same way that it would to a Call of Duty player who's used to these tight 6v6 type of maps, and then all of a sudden they have this big open space. They have the intensity of a battle royale and everything like that. It's a different pacing, it's a different experience, but it still kind of has that competitive edge to it that you would look for. Whereas Battlefield is a little bit more silly. It's already open for the most part. There's big maps and you can traverse in vehicles and all this stuff. So why go play something like a battle royale, which if anything is less action packed? And while Hazard Zone isn't completely a battle royale, and I think it could end up being a pretty good mode, I definitely want to at least try it out. But of the 3 modes, for me, it's the least hyped. I would prefer to play some silly mode in Portal or play All Out Warfare and enjoy the chaos of that. And it's not that I think that Hazard Zone is going to be a bad mode. I think it's just the lack of interest and the mystery around it, because there's not much like it on console, and it's going to make people hesitant to try it. And when you put up a paywall, well, they're going to be even more hesitant to try it because they don't want to buy something, hate it, and then be stuck with it. Whereas if it's free, which we see with a lot of the biggest games on the market, they're willing to try it, and if they don't like it, they just uninstall it and they haven't lost anything. Whereas if they try it and they love it, well, now you've got someone who is going to probably buy skins, who's going to play the game a bunch, who's going to tell his friends about it. It opens up the door to let people to at least try the game and see if they like it or not. And if it's a good mode and a lot of people like it, well, great, it can explode and it can become the next big thing. But by putting up that wall, you're preventing that growth from happening, not only for yourself as a business, but for the community as a whole, and that is only going to hurt the game. So that's all I have on Hazard Zone. Let me know down below what you guys think about it. Do you think that being free to play is a good thing? Do you think that the paywall is a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Let's have a conversation. Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.